Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. My name is Corinne Smith. I am the head of digital experiences at Uprooted Academy. We offer monthly workshops, free virtual workshops for students, families, and counselors. And we aim to just ensure that students have equitable access to information, especially in regards to college prep and admissions information. So, just a little overview of Uprooted Academy. We were founded 3 years ago, and our mission is to empower low income first generation students of color by, again, providing free resources to excel in the college application process, connect with careers, narrow the wealth gap, and promote mental wellness strategies for the future. As part of our mission, overall, we understand that many students have their first panic attack or anxiety along with college admissions, and we aim to reduce or remove that for students through our in-person programming and also upcoming platform that we'll be launching in October. So we offer various programming. Again, we have the virtual workshops such as this one, in addition to our annual college and career fairs. Um, at the end of our session today, I'll provide additional information regarding the upcoming virtual college fair, which will be on Saturday, October 19th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. High school students, families are highly encouraged to attend, and best of all, it's free. In addition to the fairs, we are also launching a digital platform for students to learn about the college admissions process, in addition to additional supportive resources regarding careers and understanding various post-secondary pathways. So more information to come about for that. As far as in-person programming, we do have not just student parent workshops, but professional development for counselors and also for school districts through direct student support in Los Angeles County. So with that, I would like to hand it over to our guest speaker today, Kevin Mondragon from American University. Once after his presentation, we will open the floor up to any questions that anyone may have. All right.
Awesome. Thank you, Corinne. Let me see if I can make the technology work. I think that worked. Does that look okay? Okay, awesome. Again, good evening, everyone. My name's Kevin Mondragon. It's my pleasure to be here tonight and talk to you about the college essay and the process when it comes to writing the college essay. So just to give you a little bit of background about myself, I currently work at American University as an assistant director of admissions. I've been at AU for about 6 years now. Prior to AU, I worked at two large public universities in Virginia, Virginia Commonwealth University and Old Dominion University. So I've worked at offices at different types of institutions, again, two larger public universities and now a medium private university. And I also come with experience with selective admissions process and a slightly selective admissions process. If you Google that, you'll see what that means in terms of percentages of students admitted. But I come with a lot of background in different areas. So again, really excited to be here with you all. And I'll try to keep the presentation as brief as possible. I apologize if I repeat anything. I did notice in the presentation that some topics are covered twice, so just bear with me through that. But the first piece is talking about what the essay can do for students. There are a lot of numbers when it comes to the application, from test scores to grades on your transcript. And sometimes it can feel like it's just a bunch of numbers that are determining your decision, but that's just simply not the case. The essay is your chance to allow us to get to know you. It's your way of directly reaching out to the admissions office and telling us about yourselves. So please take advantage of this opportunity. This is the best way for us to get to know you outside of everything else on the application. Like many institutions, AU does take a holistic approach when reviewing applicants. So we do look at everything from the essay to letters of recommendation to, of course, your transcript. But it's much more than those numbers that are considered during the review process. So where to start? Definitely start early. The earlier the better for the application process. So sorry, it's out of order. Um, Brainstorm the topics that you want to write about. I know some of you've already started brainstorming or writing your essays. It is very common to decide on another topic. That's totally fine too. It happens all the time. If something inspires you or if something happens, it's okay to change your mind and to jump into something different. You want to make sure that what you're writing about is something you're excited about and something that really shows your individuality. The topic should also be about you. Like I said, individual is very important. Make sure that you're writing about something that allows us to get to know you, whether it's something that you're passionate about, something that you've been through that has really impacted who you are as a person, something that, you remember from childhood that you really want to write about and allows us to get to know you better. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's about you and that it's honest and showing us who you are as a person. Um, Make sure to proofread. I'll have a whole slide on this as well, but we want to make sure that everything on the essay is grammatically correct, that there aren't any spelling errors or anything like that. So just make sure to proofread. Think about the story that you want to tell. Don't think about what we want to hear as an admissions office. That's something I think students tend to overthink, is writing the perfect essay and writing something that will really impress an admissions office. Honesty and showing who you are is usually the better route to take to write a stronger essay. Be creative, let your personality shine. With that being said, don't force it either. So if you're not naturally someone who likes to crack jokes, your college essay isn't the first place to start this and explore this. Make sure that it's genuine to who you are and showing your personality. But again, you don't have to force it. It should only be used if it's something you're comfortable with and something that really enhances your application. And just start writing. It's not too early to start that process. Many of you have several weeks till your first application deadline. Okay, now we're going to go back to this one. Make sure that the essay answers the question. You want to make sure that you're answering the question in the prompt. That is probably the most important piece that you want to think about. A strong opening is always amazing to have. A strong hook at the beginning in the first sentence usually captures the reader's attention. So I'm sure you'll hear this from other people, but that first sentence, that first paragraph is really important when it comes to the college essay. Making sure that your argument or your essay is cohesive, succinct. That is very important as well. The structure of your essay is going to be extremely important. And again, make sure it's natural, make sure that it's appropriate when it comes to the question that's being asked. But again, still making sure to show yourself through that response. Looking at word choice, syntax, structure, all of that is considered, but not overthinking it. Again, just we're looking for a well-structured essay that is thoughtful and answering the question. Again, using correct grammar, punctuation, spelling. This is another thing that everyone likes to highlight during these types of workshops. Make sure to use the right school's name if you're going to mention that school. That can get you into some trouble if you write another school's name, but it's also not the end of the world. I have at least one or two students in my areas that I cover who email me panicking. Most colleges will add a note, we'll switch out your essay. It's not the end of the world, but please let's try to avoid that if we can, because it can be an awkward situation. But just be careful with that. And again, making sure that it's succinct, making sure that you're answering the question, that your essay is also clear in terms of the objective you want to accomplish. All right, so make sure to revise, revise, revise. Don't submit your first draft. You want to make sure that you ask for help and you have people look at your essay. Of course, you should be the only one writing the essay, but you know, if you have a teacher that's willing to read it, reach out to them. If you have family members who can help you out, have them read it. The best piece of advice that I've ever heard when it comes to the college essay, I got this from a high school counselor. She usually gives students about a minute and a half to proofread each other's essays. That's realistically what an admissions officer gets to read an essay, just an essay. You have to remember we have over 40 pages for a lot of students to get through in order to review an application. So we don't have 15, 20 minutes to read. It's usually a quick read. So whatever reaction you get from that reader, whether it's an emotion or maybe they think it's funny or whatever reaction, it's going to be realistic within that minute and a half to 2 minutes. So when you do have people proofreading it, I always encourage you to give them a very short period of time to read your essay. Again, like I said, this is going to repeat, but answer the question that's in the prompt. And we'll talk about prompts in just a moment, but that is very important. Making sure that it's written in your voice, and then looking for homophones. So there are some words that are similar, like your with the apostrophe re versus your your. There that can also be confusing. Just making sure to look out for those things and that's correct. Making sure that you aren't missing any words is important as well. That's a common mistake that we see. You'll see like the missing from some sentences, a missing from some sentences. So be looking out for those minor errors that students tend to make. A cool thing I just learned about is that Google Translate will not only catch errors, but read your essay out loud. So if you want to see whether or not your voice is showing or just seeing if it makes sense what you're writing, it's a great tool to use to help you write your essay. And then I always tell students, again, make sure that you're showing who you are as a person, but this is your chance to tell your unique story. The essay serves as a personal canvas where you're able to provide us almost a painting of, of your life, of you as a person. So whether it's telling us a story about something that defined you or showing us your creativity, it is really your chance to make it kind of create that painting for that. Being authentic really matters. You know, we're looking for students who are genuine and telling us sincere stories that reflect them in their stories. So that is an important piece of just again being authentic. It should, your essay should reflect your values, your passions, your experiences. All of that should be considered. Kind of connected to that self-reflection, it's important to take time to really think about significant moments, challenges, or accomplishments. All of those things are areas that you can write about. You can write about all of them. You can write about one of those three areas. It's totally up to you, but you can write about these things that have shaped you and your character. Unique perspective is, or sorry, yep, engage the reader. It's important to, well, you don't have to engage the reader, but this is a great method to kind of grab their attention and get them excited. By either, again, that opening line or maybe having them walk in your shoes. I've had several essays that are really successful where they're like, hey, imagine wearing my glasses. Yeah, they're a little chipped and one side is a little lopsided, but like telling their story through that unique perspective. I've had students who have written about their shoe collection and like taking me on a journey with one of their shoes. Like those are really cool ways to really engage the reader and get them excited about your essay. So just something, again, you don't have to do that, but that is a great method to use. Highlighting your unique perspective is also important, showing your individuality and what sets you apart compared to other applicants. Sharing your insights, perspectives, and aspirations is something you can do as part of that. I think everyone should also be mindful of the tone, making sure that there's a balance of confidence, but also humility. So, of course, we want to hear about your accomplishments and who you are as a person, but also being humble in that process is important. We want you to brag, but do it in a humble way, if that makes sense. We want you to showcase your strengths while also acknowledging areas that you could improve in and areas you want to grow in. But of course, take your time while writing these essays. There are a couple weeks until the first deadline. I think it's not till October that some schools start putting it out. Some schools give you until January to apply and beyond. So make sure to take your time developing these essays and fine tuning them. Don't wait until 2 days before the application's due to write these essays. That's the last thing you want to do. And here we have some advice from current AU students. Don't panic, be yourselves, be authentic. A lot of students gave us that advice to be authentic and write about what you're passionate about. Don't be afraid to ask questions when it comes to you, from your peers or adults. They can really help you through this writing process and help you get feedback on the ideas you have. And don't be afraid to don't be afraid about what we're gonna think. Of course, like get people to proofread it and get their perspectives, but you're not trying to write a story that makes us happy. Write a story that makes you happy. I think that's extremely important advice. You want to enjoy this process. I know this application process can be stressful and overwhelming. This is a time where you really get to be creative, really get to tell your story. So you use this opportunity to um kind of take away from that stress and enjoy this process. It's the one bit. I can't promise everything else is going to be easy, but this is the one bit that you can really control and enjoy that journey. So these are the different topics we typically ask about when it comes to the college essay prompts. Your background is usually one thing that schools will ask about. Your passions, what you're passionate about, a problem that you like to solve. Sometimes they'll ask about global issues. Sometimes they'll ask about community issues. An event that sparked personal growth. So I talked a little bit about how events have defined some students and how you can write about that. You can write about achievements, meaningful contributions that you've made to your community, overcoming an obstacle or a moment of failure is something you can write about as well. Challenge when someone has challenged your beliefs or ideas and how that impacted you or how you overcame that challenging situation. So these are all areas that colleges tend to ask about or tend to provide as prompts. It's different for every college, but for the most part, they're going to cover something in terms of these areas. Now, when it comes to the Common App, as many of you know, with the Common application, you can apply to multiple colleges and universities using one application. These are the prompts for this year. So if you all want to take a moment to get your phones out and take a picture, I definitely recommend doing that, especially if you have not started the Common App yet. This will give you an idea of what's going to be on it. But again, you only have to select one essay prompt. Most schools will allow you to just answer that one prompt to apply to, again, you can apply to multiple institutions. So I'll give you all a moment if you want to take a look at them. And then I'll move on to the coalition application. So these are the prompts for the coalition. Again, you just have to select one. You can apply to multiple schools using that coalition application. While you all take pictures of that, with the Common App with Coalition, a lot of schools will have specific supplemental essays outside of these prompts. So, for example, American asks students about an area that they're interested in, whether it's whether it's related to academics or extracurricular activities, and how that relates to what they want to bring to the AU community. But some schools will ask you about why you're interested in that institution. Other schools will ask about the major you're interested in. It just varies depending on the school that you're thinking about. And then some schools will not have any supplemental essays. They'll just ask you to complete the main essay on those applications. So it really just depends. And then you have a whole nother situation with schools that have their own application where none of these prompts are on there. But again, most schools will have something related to these prompts. So it's pretty safe to say that if you start with one of these prompts, you can probably relate it to a prompt on one of those individualized applications. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. That's a lot of information. That's it in terms of the main presentation on the topics I wanted to cover. This is our information in for the Office of Admissions at AU if you ever want to get in contact with us. What I do want to end with saying is that again, please enjoy this process. Don't overthink it. Um, I've worked at again slightly selective institutions where at the end of the day we're looking just to learn something about you and we're looking for a thoughtful and well-written essay. That's really what it comes down to. If you write something that's outside of the box and something we've never seen before, that's amazing, but it's not necessary. We just want to learn something about you. Another thing that I like to always mention is that so we get the question all the time, what topics should I avoid? Like, like what to be on the safe side. I don't like discouraging students to write about things. I mean, there are definitely things that are inappropriate. Like I wouldn't recommend writing something that could be offensive to somebody, but if you want to write about COVID and how that impacted your life, please write about that. That is something that a lot of schools are saying no, like you shouldn't write about it. There is a way to do it where it can be meaningful and make an impact when it comes to your writing. Same goes for sports. That is an area that a lot of schools will tell you don't write about a sports injury. But if that sports injury really impacted your life and, you know, shaped you into who you are, please write about it. You shouldn't feel like you're not allowed to. Those are just some of the topics schools will say. I mean, you can double check with the different colleges and universities, but from my experience, admissions representatives do not have an issue with that as long as they're well written. That's the piece. So all of the advice I gave you, all the advice that you'll get from your counseling offices from different organizations, just incorporate that into your writing in any topic. Again, that's appropriate. Will be fine to write about for your college essay. But that's it for my formal presentation.